Hi, Springfield community. It's so great to be here online and virtually and a little pre-recorded, but mostly I'm just grateful to be a part of your Sunday service this evening. I'm a Community Christ member myself, and so I know how valuable your time is together and how special it can be to start the week off strong, rooted in faith and harmony. Let me introduce myself. My name is Casey. I work for Outreach International as the Development and Project Management Specialist, which basically means I get to work with incredible people like you each week and connect us all together to support people who are becoming empowered and uprooting themselves out of generational cycles of poverty, which is pretty special. So you guys already know how special this is because you facilitated and organized your own chili cook-off fundraiser. Thank you so much for doing that. I can't wait to see all of your pictures and videos and fun times together as a community. And that made a very large difference for people who needed that support of funding. So thank you so much for participating and for just being an active congregation and an active member in your community. So for people who don't know what outreach is, or if you're just visiting church this evening, I just wanted to give a little context of what we do before I get started. We facilitate community-led development worldwide, which is pretty dang special. So basically what this means is we empower people to be the engines of their own success. They identify problems in their community that they feel are pressing, and then they address them themselves with organizing and leadership training. And it, creates this really sustainable, positive outcome that really is impressive. And then they can share those outcomes with neighboring communities who are also in poverty. And then that cycle disappears and generations of people are now out of poverty. So it's pretty special. And I'm so grateful to be a part of it with you all. And I can't wait to share some of my special favorite moments that outreach does. So as I mentioned before, communities choose and address their own issues in their own backyard of things that they feel are pressing or that need to be addressed. And some of the things that we've done in the past are leadership training, water access, agriculture and farming and sustainability issues. We've done food loans before and animal farming and infrastructure and housing and just about everything under the sun. And one of my favorite things that outreach gets to be a part of is education access worldwide. So that's something I'm going to share with you all today. I think this Zoom call is just about celebrations, right? It's about celebrating your community and what you have done for outreach, but it's also celebrating the same kind of community successes that are happening globally. So this is one of my favorite things that we do at outreach. It's called a field update. And basically each week in the office, we get a little update about how our communities are doing worldwide and what they're up to and how things are progressing. And I wanted to share one of those with you all today and say thank you so much for your contributions, your time, your energy, and your generosity. So here's one of my favorite updates. It's a school rehabilitation project in Sakarpa, Nepal. And let me give you a little context about their school, because you're probably wondering, why did it have to be rehabilitated, right? So here's some project background on that. The school first began with one teacher and about 10 to 15 children. And then it developed into having 12 employees. So they didn't just have teachers. They also had administrational staff. And then it grew and grew and grew to host 120 students at this school. So that means a lot of children in their community required education and just didn't have access to it. So now that the school has been more developed and has support from lots of different organizations, they access lots of resources to secure a latrine or a bathroom facility, drinking water facilities, educational scholarships for their children, a lunch facility, curriculum through grade 8, and then 14 classrooms in 2 school buildings. So they did a lot of development in Nepal recently, which is wonderful. And so many school kids get to go now, which is great. So outreach's work began with Sakarpa in 2017 at this education facility. And this was because outreach's work kind of is rooted in leadership training and development. And a lot of the program partners that we work with have their own leadership organizations. So they named their leadership organization the Farmers Group. And this group became more and more recognized in Sakarpa and in Nepal. And with all of their capable leaders and increasing their resource networks, so much work was done to support the school. And then among many other projects that they began developing. So once the school was done, they get to move on and keep developing and keep, ending generational cycles of poverty, which is really important. And they got to address lots of poverty issues in Sakarpa. But then things paused because everything changed. Natural disasters do happen. And with this type of disaster, which was a landslide in 2019, it took out the school and community of Sakarpa. So as you can see in these pictures here, Sakarpa is located on a mountain range. So it's filled with lots of different hills and landscape, but with a landslide, you can also see in the images, it just kind of swept the building underneath itself. And lots of the damage was done to not only the buildings, but the roads to the schools. So education had to be put on a pause for those 120 children because the school road was blocked by huge stones and rolling hills. So it resulted in lots of damage to previous projects that they were working on, such as electricity in their bathrooms and a possible potential place to have a library. And the proposal had to be, updated and changed after this happened multiple times. And what was so incredible is that the farmers group only asked OI for funding for school equipment, books, and supplies. And we were wondering, after such a big national disaster, why would that be? Why wouldn't they want funding for the actual infrastructure of the building? And it's because that the group was so well organized and well led and developed, they actually petitioned to their local government to fund for the majority of the rebuilding of the school, which was successful. So thanks to the mobilization of that leadership development and training in that group, they took a collective action and got to serve their community in the best way possible. So then outreach got to really fund and sustain and fulfill the students in a new way because we could use our resources for supplies. So in that previous slide, it's going fast there, OI approved, Outreach International approved their request for $4,510. And this was all for educational materials, from technology to building supplies to even early childhood development games. So now that their building was funded, the building structure also changed where they could add more classrooms and add more supplies and add more people. So they got 3 Dell laptops from Outreach to use for their classroom or for their academic and educational organizational purposes. So maybe the president or someone of their school or of their organization would need it. And then they also got internet for their entire building. They also got stationery and recreational tools and a lot of miscellaneous things that you wouldn't think about until you thought about them. So maps, educational posters, chairs, bookshelves, globes, different things like that. But something that is really special that we'll share about pretty soon was the recreational piece of this, is we could really invest in joy and of dreams and hopes and futures for these children. So we got a lot of sports materials for the upper grades, but we got a playground toy and early child development toys for a new classroom that they were developing for younger children. So lots of great things happening all around. And I just wanted to share some of that joy with you. So 120 students accessed individual stationery sets. So think when you were going for school supply shopping for anyone, for yourself, for children in the past, or anything like that in the US, they got their own stationery sets and boxes and backpacks and improved facilities that they could be a part of, and lots of teaching materials as well that they had access to. And the special thing that I was mentioning before was they added an early childhood development classroom for preschool and kindergarten children, which was added a new playground and learning tools. And that was a whole new world for the Sakarpa school. So that was something that was some joy out of some sadness and some darkness, right? There was a terrible tragedy and natural disaster that occurred, but the community rose above, rallied, organized, and even developed more and more for the school and for the kids in their community, especially since they were missing out on education during that disaster. So it really made up for it, really came together, and it was a really special moment. And the 7 teachers came back to the school, accessed new furniture, technology, and improved teaching materials. So the next thing I'm going to show you is something very fun. I hope you really enjoy it this Sunday evening, and it's videos from the early childhood development classroom. If the volume doesn't work, my apologies. I've been trying to test it and mess with it. I hope it does, because hearing their laughs and joy just really brings to the whole experience of this update. But if not, you'll get to see them use some of their recreational tools and new playground furniture. So here's the first one. Look at those smiles. Isn't that the cutest? Okay, here's another video coming up. This is swing set. Isn't that so sweet? So you can see that the furniture we used, we tried to make it multi-purpose. So the swing set had a slide attached, which also had a basketball hoop. They just got a little bit of everything in this development process. And here's the last video, maybe my favorite. I really like the kickoff on that last one. But as you can see, there's just so much learning and development and community happening here. The kids really bond together using these recreational services. So the school is growing and learning and is safe and happy and healthy, all thanks to the work of Outreach and their global partners. I just wanted to say thank you one more time. I know I've been blabbering on about Sakarpa, but thank you so much for having me at your Sunday service. It really just means the world to me. I just started working at Outreach a few months ago, and their work makes me emotional. It really just warms my heart knowing that people's lives are being changed because of the volunteerism and generosity of you. And you don't know these people, you might never meet them, but I can't thank you enough for everything that you've done for them. So thank you so much, because the work you do does change lives. If you have any questions about how to volunteer for Outreach or to be a part of Outreach some more, we're looking to have more volunteers. You can join our Facebook group, Outreach International Volunteers, or contact me if you have any questions. You can email me or call me, but I would love to meet you all individually or personally. And thank you so much again, and I hope you have a wonderful service. Thank you.